My name is Zach, traveling the UK for 3 months, and to answering questions like this, because unfortunately, for the most part, no. I mean, maybe I'm just like a particularly ignorant American, and so I don't want to speak for everybody, but in general, for people who haven't like specifically traveled to those areas, they don't really know the culture. That myself included. I have traveled to Mexico, I've traveled to Canada. I have experienced those cultures firsthand, and now I'm familiar with them. But before that, before traveling here, I didn't get a ton of exposure. Our media doesn't really give us much. Our schools certainly don't give us much. I mean, we get a tad of history, and if you look at back on some of my previous posts, I talk about this, and basically, kind of what happens is like we get this version of these countries that are like stuck in the period of history we learned about. So like I learned about London during World War II. So my version of London up until traveling here was World War II. And many Americans feel that way. Like if you look at one of my biggest posts, which maybe I'll just link, people are talking about how when they meet people from America, they are like shocked that people in England have electricity, or people have, running water, or people have, trash, or we're like trash collection services or whatever. It's because in general, we don't know, we're not exposed to a lot of our culture. Our news media is only American propaganda, 100%. We'll occasionally see something about the Olympics or the World Cup, and that is it. I have no idea what football teams exist out here. None whatsoever. I know Arsenal. Don't be mad at me. That's just what I've been exposed to. They're popular. Apparently, they're really famous. I don't know anything about football. I mean, I know about the Sheffield football clubs because I spent some time there, but we don't get a ton of exposure. And then, of course, I know what I've experienced, but the people who have not been lucky enough to travel and are able to do that, they know nothing. And it's one of those things when you talk to them, it's not that they're choosing to be ignorant, they just don't have the exposure, and they also sometimes don't even know where to look. And like, unless they're like online gaming with people who are around the world, which sometimes does happen, they will get zero exposure to that culture. So, no, you're not being facetious. But I had there's no way I would have never ever known that phrase. There are things that I did end up knowing before I moved out here just because of, reasons and looking it up. But to take away versus to go, which in turns out I was wrong about that, doggy bag, which I'll make a video about, we would have never gotten that. Unless we watched like a ton of British television, maybe the Doctor Who or whatever.